Hello and welcome to my channel where I do crafts that I have no business doing in the hope of encouraging people to be a bit more confident in trying something new, or at least to offer some cheap entertainment should things go terribly awry. Most of the crafts I have done or planned so far have leaned towards the highly impractical. So I'm really mixing things up today by attempting to do something incredibly practical and attempting to resole my old pair of Birkenstocks. To be clear, I am not a cobbler, I do not know very much about shoes, and I don't have lots of fancy tools. But what I do have is a lovely set of instructions from the blog Strange Taste Horse Beans, which I just like that, as well as that overconfidence that comes from complete and total ignorance. So with that, let's hop to it. As you can see, the old sole is pretty worn out and also separating a bit from the cork. The first step in resoling is to remove the old sole, so the Birks went into the oven at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, and then the sole could be gently peeled off. Well, that went suspiciously smoothly. I think I was most nervous for the part where I put my shoes in the oven, but that was quick and simple and makes me feel like maybe I did something wrong, or now I'm just waiting for something else to go wrong, but so far, so easy. Cool. You can kind of see how the cork is starting to wear away here, and ideally I would have liked to have dealt with any resoling issues before there became cork issues, but I bought these shoes secondhand and they came very much pre-weathered, as it were, but they were cheap and I kind of needed a pair because I live in the Pacific Northwest and it's sort of part of the uniform. And I think I got lucky because the previous owner must have had like a similar foot bottom to me, because the cork part was already molded to my sole. Molded to my sole. No wait, this is the footbed, so yeah, see, I don't know shoe parts. But anyways, when I bought them, the sole was already disintegrating. The sole was already disintegrating. Oh, my sandals and I have so much in common. There seem to be a fair number of places online where you can buy the Birkenstock rubber sole replacement material. I think you can buy them in much larger sheets, which allows you to do multiple shoes. I got this small piece because I did not want to spend more money on a large piece. I also saw some pre-cut sole options. They just didn't have any in stock at the time that I was buying this, so gonna cut myself. Nope, gonna cut this one myself. But before cutting the sole, I went ahead and thoroughly cleaned the bottom of the shoe surface, because I'll want all surfaces to be clean before I do any cementing so that there's not a bunch of gunk interfering with the bond. I'm doing the next few steps outside just because I think it's gonna get a little messy when I have to sand this, and also because of the cement fumes, which there were enough warning signs on the packaging that I figured better too much ventilation than too little ventilation. So I'm gonna go ahead, just kind of do a rough cut of these first. It's probably best to have the sharpest blade possible for this. I don't remember the last time I sharpened this, so we'll see how this works. And while I'm doing this, in my very few other videos, I've been doing a section I call Let's Get Learnt, where I talk about something that I'm feeling curious about. But anyways, attempting to resole shoes has made me think about the joy of mending clothing and just the fashion textile industry in general, sustainability, all that fun stuff. So thought I'd talk a little bit about that while I'm cutting things. This guy's thick. But yeah, I do try to be somewhat aware of my levels of consumption because, whew, the textile industry. Hey, and especially fast fashion. The textile industry emits greenhouse gases and uses massive amounts of water and energy. It's the second largest consumer of water among the industries. The largest is agriculture, which makes sense. Like, of course my crops and my cattle gotta drink. Ugh. But I found some info suggesting that 2,000 gallons of water are required to produce one pair of jeans. That's so much water. I was trying to visualize how much water that is, and I found a photo of a 2,000 gallon water tank for sale. That much water for one jean. That's like one medium-sized residential swimming pool will get you 5 jeans. For using the EPA's estimate of how much water the average American uses at home in one day, that's almost 1 month's worth of water for one jean. And when 2/3 of the global population lives in areas where access to fresh water is an issue, yeah, not great. So I'm attempting to scuff this up a little bit. It might be a light scuffing. I'm using a coarse 60 sandpaper, and I'm just roughing it up, and I'm assuming that's to help with adhering and for the surfaces to stick together, because smooth surfaces don't love sticking together, but crunchy surfaces like getting all up in each other's business. This is taking longer than I anticipated. But yeah, so there's the issues with water usage, plus all the textile dyeing pollutes water, and the use of synthetic fibers releases a bunch of microplastics. And there's just the sheer amount of waste that happens when clothes are thrown away. And there's social impacts, because sales and profit are often favored over human welfare. Is this doing anything besides making a mess? But I also don't think the answer is to guilt people about buying clothes, especially affordable clothes. It seems like too much emphasis on individual responsibility kind of lets industries and corporations and the uber rich off the hook when it's really more their mess. For instance, I found this study that said in 2019 it was found that just 20 fossil fuel companies were responsible for 1/3 of all CO2 and methane emissions worldwide, and the richest 10% of the world's population is responsible for almost half of CO2 emissions. I don't know how long this must go on. Maybe I should have gotten the Dremel out. It's taken for frickin' ever. I think I'm gonna call that good. Hopefully I have done an appropriate amount of scuffing. I also read some comments suggesting that you wipe the bottom of the shoes with isopropyl alcohol, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'll let that dry, and then I'll be about ready to do the cementing. Yeah. So to adhere the pieces together, I'm using Barge all-purpose cement. Barge seems to be the brand favorite of shoe repairists from what I could tell with my brief internet searches, but it sounds like maybe shoe glue can be a cheaper, shorter-term option. This seems dangerous, so I'm going to put on all my protective equipment because I value my health in this poison realm. Yep. Guess I'll put it on with this guy and then let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes before smooshing them together. We'll see how this goes. Ooh, it smells strong. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is with the textile industry, but it does seem like larger entities maybe need to be held accountable. But otherwise, I figure at the very least, I can try to focus on my own individual contribution and try to live as sustainably as possible within my own means. And with fashion, that means the best thing I can do is keep and fix the clothes that I do have, like these shoes. And the next best thing is to shop secondhand, which I do love doing because shopping secondhand always kind of feels like a treasure hunt to me. And, you know, kind of mending clothes makes me, I don't know, feel like an old pioneer woman. And I would say like probably 95% of my closet is secondhand. I don't have any evidence for this, but I feel like clothing quality has just gotten shittier. Just like the enshittification of everything has extended to the clothing realm. And so like thrifted clothes are often older clothes that are better quality and they last longer and they're cheaper. So I don't know, it's kind of fun, but it also feels like a win-win-win to shop secondhand, at least for me. Sometimes you gotta, you know, hunt for things, but that's part of the fun. So much glue. Sometimes it's easy to get bogged down in the kind of just immensity of it all, being worried about the environment, being worried about people, and sometimes I feel helpless kind of when it comes to being able to have any sort of environmental or social impact. But what I can control are my own actions. Yeah, so I can, you know, do my little bit of shoe repair, hope that maybe this helps somebody else think, you know what, I could try doing shoe repair. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I wreck my pair of shoes that was already broken? Smear, smear, smear. Let's just put a little bit more on, because why not? And if enough people do that, it does have an impact, and it does make a difference. All right, many glues have been applied, and we wait 15 to 20 minutes. So you'll follow the instructions for whatever adhesive you choose to use. After waiting 20 minutes, the cement was pretty tacky, so I needed to be careful when placing the shoe because once those surfaces touched each other, they didn't really want to move. I pressed everything together, trying to make sure it was all tight with no gaps. I had read some comments somewhere about hammering the sole into place, but that wasn't really working for me. I ended up using some clamps to help hold everything tightly together, and then let the cement cure overnight. These have dried overnight. I ended up adding some blue tape just to kind of help hold them in place. Just try and get the edges a little closer. So we'll take them apart, see how we're looking. Oh. Huh? Seems to be on there pretty good. You can see there's like some areas where it's not like 100% flush, but maybe that's okay. Next thing I'm gonna do is cut off the excess. But first, my husband requested that I walk around for a second like I'm wearing clown shoes, so I'm gonna go do that real quick. All right, I did walk around in these a little bit and they did feel like tiny little snowshoes and it was fun, but they're not gonna stay like this. I'm going to cut them. Let's get to trimming. I tried to carefully cut as close to the edge of the shoe as I could without cutting the cork. This step probably would have gone a bit smoother if I had cut a little further away from the cork, then sanded it down later. I was also accidentally cutting in at a bit of an angle, and I wish I'd held the blade more straight up and down so the cut wasn't as angled. Alas. I've sped up this footage to 4 times the speed. The material was pretty tough and thick, so I was having a nice little workout whilst doing this. And I've cut out all the audio of me complaining and sighing, but I figured I could do some reenactments now. So here goes. Oh, this is taking a while. My hands are tired. Oof, I should have sharpened this blade, but why work smarter when you can work harder? Curse my weak and pitiful hand strength. The amount of elbow grease this requires is more than the grease I have in my old elbows. Oh man, I'm really cutting this at an angle, but I didn't give myself any wiggle room, and it's too late to fix it now. Woo! Next, I used a Dremel, which I think is a tool I've held once before in the past, to grind the edges down more flush with the cork. I suppose these could be sanded by hand, but I think some sort of electric sander is the way to go. And be forewarned, it makes a bit of a mess. After that, I used some shoe glue to fill in the tiny bits of gap between the cork and rubber sole, as well as the area where there was a small chunk of cork worn away. And last, because I was already tending so much to these sandals, I figured I may as well condition the leather while I was at it. I let the shoe glue dry overnight, and then these puppies were ready to venture forth. Oh, ah, ooh, yeah, ooh, shoes. Point the toe, yeah, yeah, ooh, ah, stepping, step, steps, shoes. Yeah, I wore them camping all weekend and they held up great. I can't say they're like the prettiest soles that have ever existed, but they stayed attached to the shoes and kept my feet protected from the ground. So I think they did what they were meant to do. And I don't know, it's kind of exciting to do something you've never done before and weren't sure that you could do. Like, I don't know, cobblery. I don't know if shoe goo in the crevices was the right thing to do, but it is the thing I did. So it's pretty shiny, so if you wouldn't want that look, I would skip that step. And then the other thing I wish I had done differently was, not cut in at such an angle. But again, it's not super noticeable when I'm wearing them and I don't like feel a difference on my feet, so it's the bottom of my shoes. If you were thinking about resoling your shoes and were really nervous about it, hopefully this makes you feel a tiny bit more confident, because it's really not that scary and it's kind of cool. So have at it, and good luck out there, my fellow shoe-wearing compatriots.